Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan and we are back with another reaction video. So let's watch this together, reconvene, and I will share my thoughts per usual. Nothing more to say.
I was talking with my guy friends the other day about the number one thing that they find most attractive in a girl and the number one thing they're looking for in a girl, and I was actually pretty shocked by it. I love shooting the shit with them and just asking like, so what are you looking for? What's your type? Da-da-da. None of them said anything related to looks. The first thing they all said was she needs to be happy. She needs to bring lighthearted energy. She can't be bringing like heaviness onto them. She knows how to just have that like happy, smiling, optimistic, like, fun attitude. I find that so interesting because when you're doing the work, you're doing the self-work, you are taking care of yourself, you're doing the inner work, you are spending time alone, you're doing all these different things, you are inherently learning how to make yourself happy. You are inherently learning how to not rely on other people for your own emotional validation and support. Of course, a little bit of that is healthy, but at the end of the day, the more inner work you're doing on yourself, the more you take yourself out on dates, the more you learn about yourself, the more you do these things, the happier you are going to get. And not just the happier you're going to get, the real happiness from within, when it's you creating this source of happiness, not an external stimuli. And that, my girls, my friends, is the most attractive, sexiest thing that you can do.
Oh my goodness, she gets it. I love this girl. I think she's a great role model for women. I think this was really refreshing for me to see personally. So I'm sure that a lot of you will feel this way as well. Going even further than what she said, not only does it make you a better you when you do these things, it makes you a better partner. And shout out to the guys in her life. This must be a really solid group of guys that she's surrounding herself with, because that is such a green flag, such a wonderful answer, because it is what you guys should be striving for in a relationship. I think this is a wonderful thing. So let's get into it. So they said she needs to be happy. She needs to bring a lighthearted energy. She can't be bringing heaviness onto them. She needs to be happy, smiling, optimistic. Now, I'll be honest and tell you that we can't expect someone to be happy all the time, right? That's unrealistic. We all have low moments, but I do think it's important to find someone who's emotionally developed and someone who ultimately has done or is currently doing the work. She should bring peace into your life instead of chaos and drama, because the women who bring the chaos and the drama and the constant arguing and just the complete dysfunction are always the ones who have some sort of deep-rooted issue that needs addressed, that needs healed. To find a woman who is committed to growth, to creating happiness in her own life, to finding things in her life that bring her joy, to healing the parts of herself that maybe don't make her a good partner and trying to become a good one, is such a green flag on so many levels, you guys. This is the true goal, gentlemen, and I will tell you exactly why. You cannot make someone happy. You can't fix them. They have to be able to do that for themselves. They have to want it for themselves. Someone who is looking at you or external factors as their main source of happiness will always be disappointed. Expecting another person to fulfill all of your emotional needs is unrealistic because it places a completely unfair burden on that other person. No one person can be everything to another person all of the time. Additionally, relying solely on someone else for emotional fulfillment can lead to codependency, an unhealthy dynamic in the relationship, and also a lot of resentment from both people involved. It's so important to take responsibility for your own emotional well-being. And a woman or a man who is able to do that is such a green flag. A healthy relationship is one in which both partners support and care for each other, but also have their own individual interests and sources of fulfillment and happiness in their life. You guys, you cannot possibly make someone happy who is unable to create happiness in their own life for themselves. Nothing you do will ever be enough. When a woman is able to create their own happiness and really work on themselves and find things that bring them joy and just be an individual, this is going to make them a better partner. When I'm a better Courtney, I'm a better wife, I'm a better daughter, I'm a better friend, because ultimately, I'm a better me at the end of the day. And I think this is something that is so important and something that you should all be looking for in a future potential partner. Wanting a wife or girlfriend who is happy and fulfilled on her own, or who is able to create that for themselves, or someone who's just working on that actively, is such a wonderful thing to be looking for. So this was just so refreshing for me. Also refreshing to me, I don't know if it will be to you guys too, but refreshing to hear that someone is trying to figure out what the opposite sex actually wants. I think a lot of women think they know what men want, but actually are completely wrong about it because they think that men want the same things that they want, when in reality, that's not always the case. Of course, there's going to be some overlap. I think women should be looking for a man who is doing the same thing, who is doing the work, who is committed to growth, who can create happiness in his own life as well. But men and women are often looking for different things. This is one thing, though, that I think both men and women should be looking for in a partner. And it's just nice to hear that someone cares and is open to learning. And I thought it was interesting that she also brought up the fact that none of the men said anything about looks, because I think that's another thing that women automatically go to when they think about what men are looking for. And of course, there's an element of that. But for it not to be the number one thing that these men brought up, I think speaks volumes. You guys can let me know in the comments if you're shocked by this or not and what your opinion is as a viewer. But I just think it's wonderful to hear that that's not the number one priority, because I think people who are looking for a certain physical attribute or the way that someone looks as the number one thing, it often reveals something, a more deep-rooted issue about them as well. I think it's absolutely important to be attracted to your partner. I'm not saying that you should just date people who you find unattractive, but I don't think anything involving looks should be the number one thing on your list. There's far more to consider than this, and true compatibility doesn't involve the way that someone looks, which is ultimately a fleeting characteristic anyways. I think there are intrinsic qualities that outweigh any sort of surface level physical characteristic. Things like effective communication, aligned values, honesty, positivity, self-respect and development, someone who takes responsibility. These are some of the things that come to mind and contribute to a healthy relationship, and specifically one that can stand the test of time. How big someone's butt is doesn't mean that they're going to be a good wife. So it's refreshing to hear that people understand that. And it is far more important to focus on the fundamental aspects of a relationship that are going to contribute to the longevity, the health, and ultimately boil down to compatibility. And you might be watching this thinking, how can I attract someone who is like this, who has these positive characteristics that I'm looking for, who is committed to growth, who is committed to learning, who is committed to being the best that they can be? And I would say this to both men and women. To attract this type of person, you need to be a person who is doing the work too. And I know I've said this in a lot of videos lately, but I'm going to say it again because I think it's relevant. Who you choose to be with is a direct reflection of your emotional development. Really let that sink in and think about that. Take a look at the people you've been attracting. Take a look at the people you've been choosing. Really let that sink in and think about your past relationships. Who are you choosing to be with? Because that is a direct reflection of you and where you are at. I'll even throw myself under the bus here and say, when I look back at my past relationships, it is abundantly clear to me that I was not all there, okay? I was not emotionally developed to the point that I am at today. And the partner that I am choosing to be with reflects that, okay? So I guarantee the same can be applied to you. Really look yourself in the mirror, take a look at your past relationship history, and see what it looks like, because it often says far more about you than you might realize. So my advice would be, show up for yourself. Make your life one that you feel confident bringing a woman into. You have the power to change your life. Make it a good one. The inner qualities mean far more than what someone looks like on the outside. You can change your hair, you can upgrade your style, you can get in better shape, you can do all of the external things to make yourself more attractive. And while that is wonderful, and I would encourage you to do that, if you don't also do the inner work along with it, none of it really matters. Those are not the things that really matter for being a healthy partner or being able to sustain a long-term relationship. So to wrap this video up, it was just refreshing to see someone who went directly to the source to get an answer of what men are looking for, and who posted a positive video on the internet that she was pleasantly surprised and shocked by their answer. And I think far more men are looking for this than women give them credit for. I don't think every man on the planet is just saying, I want a girl who has a big butt and who can cook me a meal. I think men are also looking at the inner qualities that would make someone a good partner. And I think they're having trouble finding that too. So be the love that you seek and be the partner that you want to attract. And this will be a lot easier for you. I think this is wonderful. I love seeing healthy dating advice on the internet, and I really like this creator just from this video that I saw. So let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.